today I have a wonderful guest. As always, I have Alexander the Great's older brother, Brandon.
That's me,
Uh, how's it going, buddy?
Alexander the Not So Great.
Yeah. Alexander the just all right.
Alex the Mid.
Oh man, I unlocked a new bit last week because I was watching back in the part where you guys were riffing without me, and I thought it was hilarious how Brad was razzing on you. So that is my
Yeah,
new
that's what
favorite
he
bit.
does.
Yeah, um, but we kind of have a little bit maybe shorter of a week this week because we don't have a Percy Jackson episode to talk about, but we are going to talk about some anime this week. Brandon's kind of more in tune with the anime than I am, and so I'm gonna kind of he's got all the stuff. He got some sweet. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but you got some sweet like deluxe Vinland Saga, didn't you, for
I
Christmas?
did. I did. From Clint, Vinland Saga, which we'll get into more later, is, I think, probably, in my opinion, the most perfect anime. It's very close to it.
I watched the in slight preparation. I watched the first episode this morning at the gym, actually.
Okay, okay. So you got a taste of it.
I've
It
got a taste of it, and then I listened to a podcast about the real history of like Vinland and stuff, and that was really cool. I really like that, so I'm
yeah,
even
it's
more
got a lot of
interested.
historical people, but the story itself is fiction. It's more
That's
historical
just
fiction anime than anything else.
yeah, it's really cool. Like I'm super excited and uh like Leif Erikson showing up in the first episode was pretty hype. I was like, oh my Lanta, that's pretty sweet. So
Yeah, the tone changes a lot. So,
I'm sure it does.
it's it becomes a little bit darker of a show, but it's a great show. So
Yeah, I'm excited to continue on that journey over the next couple of weeks and stuff. But before we get into that, I think we are going to discuss a little bit of the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We got our first taste of jousting in that episode. We got our first
yeah,
taste of the Targaryens in the show. Well, technically our second, but really our first taste of jousting in the show, and we also got some more of Dunk and Egg being hilarious, and just some really fun moments. So, did what did you think of the A Night of the Seven Kingdoms episode?
it was good. It was a good episode. I like that it's a lot more lighthearted than Game of Thrones. It's not as foreboding, I guess. I love their relationship. I can't wait to see it progress more, like it does in the book. But and the Targaryens being Targaryens. Um,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
uh, Baylor is sweet though, but Baylor is just as cool as I was hoping and expecting him to be.
yeah,
He's like actually like a chivalric knight, and he seems to actually like care about and know like Arlen, which is cool. And it kind of shows that like he actually does like care about and know some of the common folk, even if they're not highborn or anything like that. He still cares about those people. So that is cool. It's kind of a stark contrast to a lot of the Targaryens who we see.
well, yeah, and that's the problem. Is I think if your basis for the Targaryens is only off Game of Thrones, the show in particular, not even the books,
Yeah.
you're going to have a jaded perspective of that whole family.
Yeah. Well, and like they ruled Westeros for a century more
Thousands,
than
yeah,
yeah,
hundreds, if not thousands of years.
yeah. And th- there were a range of kings that they range from Maelor to Jaehaerys, but that there were some relatively good kings in that time period. And so it's interesting to see. And this is a really interesting time period too, because, and this is kind of like a light spoiler for uh, House of the Dragon and stuff, but there are no dragons left in
Hmm.
Westeros. Really in the world, but really just in Westeros. That there are no the Targaryens do not have dragons anymore. So this is kind of like an unstable time in their rule. And 70 years later, they get toppled by the Baratheons and the Starks
Hmm.
and the Tullys. So they, or I think it's the Aarons actually. I don't know if the Tullys were on their side at that point,
Probably
but
both,
yeah. They probably were all in
because
there.
the
I can't
Tullys are
remember.
river run. So
Yeah, and they were engaged to the Stark. So yeah, they were probably all together in it. I need to do my reread of that, but I've been loving. I've actually really been loving Iron Gold. I'm finally to the part where like I'm really digging it, and it's been so good.
yeah, it's especially the first third of the book is very exposition laden, and kind of like the setup is like, especially if you go from the original trilogy straight into it, like Jake's doing that right now.
Yeah,
And I was
that's
telling
what I was
them, I
just
was
where
like,
I ended.
yeah, but like when you're on a straight jump, that time skip kind of messes with you a little bit, because
Mhm.
you're jumping in real time. You're going 10 years later, and
Yeah,
the vibe shifts. Everybody's kind of like, I don't like how Darrow's turning up, but in the end, it all makes sense. But like I could see at the beginning, you're kind of like, oh great, he's becoming the very thing he was fighting in the last three books. But in actuality, he's not.
yeah, and you can kind of see like you can kind of see hints of that in this part too. Like you can kind of see the nuance of what he's doing, and like even he doesn't decide to storm the Senate, and he decides not to outwardly start a civil war. He's in essence starting a civil war, but he's not directly taking the seventh and marching on the Senate Hall. But yeah,
I think one of my favorite things, when I was speaking to somebody about the book series, because I was a little later to the party than most people. There were a lot of people that were already through Lightbringer by the time I started the series, and they were
Mhm.
like, Iron Gold is kind of his Caesar crossing the Rubicon moment at the beginning, where you're like,
Yeah,
it's not good, it's not bad, um,
yeah,
it's kind of rough, And from the original trilogy, try not to spoil anything, his decisions were questionable.
oh yeah,
And, and again, that's kind of leads a lot of credence to the way Pierce Brown writes, because the emotional maturity and the emotional development for me is exponentially better in the last three books. Like, it's more character driven. Um, that's what I try to tell people, because you run into people all the time who will only read the first book and it's such a different tone. Like Red Rising
yeah.
is like zoomed in, you're getting this much of the story. And it's still an amazing book, but once you hit the next two, they zoom out, and then you hit Iron Gold and you're zoomed out even further.
and
Like,
and yeah, we're getting all sorts of different perspectives. Like I never imagined that we'd get a like another Gray or like anything like that. So it's cool to see all the different perspectives and everyone like zoomed out. So
have you met Apollonius yet?
no, I haven't yet.
Okay. He's
Yeah.
I think he comes in towards the end of this book.
What I
Um,
honestly what I honestly kind of want is a is like a whole like book following which like spoilers, but following Lysander and Cassius on their adventures out through space. I would love it just like a standalone novel about all of their like nonsense that they got into.
yeah, yeah, and you know, I can't wait till you finish the whole thing and we can have an in-depth discussion
I
about the
know.
characters, because so much is going to happen in these three books. But I will say that, like, where you're at, that would be a nice like spin-off at some point, or just to have a Cassius training him, because you almost have that episode 1 to episode 2 Star Wars time skip where Lysander goes from being a kid to being, the Padawan
Yeah, yeah,
per se.
and yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And you can tell like it's that same kind of teacher relationship where the mentor didn't really ever expect to be a teacher, so he's not really
yeah, yeah.
great at it.
Yeah,
You
yeah. I
know,
was gonna say Cassius didn't want to be a mentor to the old,
yeah,
to the
it's
old.
and that kind of, I don't want to say twisted, but very unique sense of honor Cassius has coming
Hmm.
after the first three, and being he's the reason that Lysander didn't get a knife to the throat
Yeah,
from Severo at the time.
from everyone.
Yeah, because there's so many morally gray choices made in the book series. There's so many ways it could have gone.
Yeah,
You'll
it's.
you'll be I'll be interested to see how you feel how it plays out.
I'm so excited to get into the next couple books. I'm moving at a much faster pace now because I like every spare minute that I get now. I'm listening to it, but it is so good.
My thoughts, and I'm going to try to put myself in my shoes at Iron Gold, knowing what I know. I will say that my thoughts at Iron Gold were still Darrow was kind of losing me a little bit because he was playing the political game, um,
Hmm.
which is a little irksome at first. Um, Severo's being Severo, but he's matured. He's more family oriented, and
Hmm.
Lysander, I sympathize with him a lot in Iron Gold. He's had it rough. He's got reasons to be the way he is, but at the same time, he's also got a very kind of Nepo baby feel to him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's
He's
got
definitely
that
got that vibe to
entitlement.
him. Yeah.
And honestly, and this was a super unpopular opinion, I don't like Cassius at this point. I'm
That's
not a
fair.
huge Cassius fan. To me, what he's done in Iron Gold does not justify all the nonsense he did in the first three books. Like
See,
in the
and I
end,
even
he go ahead.
I, I really liked him in the first trilogy. I thought that he was a very interesting character because he is playing with what honor means. What does it mean to be honorable, and what does it mean to fight for honor? Because that's all he ever does. He is fighting for the honor of his house, even when it's against his best friend and his brother. He has to fight, like he has to stab, or he has to fight Darrow in the institute, and then he has to duel him for honor um, in the like in the I can't on Luna. I can't remember where they're at exactly.
Mm-hmm.
When
When they have
Cassius
their
jumps.
duel.
Yeah, yeah. And then he's
Oh, but
fighting for
Darrow's get back was so good in that one.
it was so good in that one, and you're so happy because he's getting back and he's getting his girl back. But if you think about it from Cassius's perspective, he was only doing what was expected of him because like his mother expected of him, his society expected it of him, and he was fighting for honor. It's a lot like Jamie Lannister. They make you swear and swear, and it's about
That's
the
exactly right. Yeah.
yeah, it's about the oaths that you have to take to yourself, to the kingdom, to the society, to your family. And so all of these conflicting oaths and all of these conflicting things of honor are so interesting, and that's why his decision to eventually join Darrow and Severo and them, uh and help take down the society, and help to uh he wasn't there to help found the republic, but to help end the society and push the republic, are so interesting, and that's why I'm so excited to see where his story continues to go.
Yeah, because his, like you were saying, it is very like that's a good analogy as Jamie Lannister. It's not per se like actual honorable honor as much as it is honoring the name of your house and your family, and it's that political twisted sense of it's almost not honor as much as it is kind of protecting your house. but you call it
Yeah.
honor.
Yeah. And it's about like that's the amazing thing that these authors are able to do, is they're able to twist the like, what does it mean to be honorable? What does it mean to be a knight? Like that's another theme in A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. That's why I love like these stories so much, is because it's, what does it mean to be honorable and what does it mean to be a knight? And like Dunk is a completely different kind of honorable than Jamie or than Cassius is, and they both have their own kind of honor. Like Jamie, he's known as Kingslayer. He's the most hated knight in the Seven Kingdoms, but he was doing it to protect the people, and he was following one of his oaths to protect the realm. And so
And
it's
he
just this interesting
he's
spectrum.
he's so perfectly fine with being seen the way that he knows he's seen, even though he's truly not like that. Like I always go back to when he's telling Brienne the story of the night he actually killed the king and what was actually happening. And then you're like, anybody would have done that. He's a lot more honorable than he even likes to pretend to be.
Yeah. Well, and because it was part of that was to protect the honor of his house. He was protecting the honor of his house by not revealing that the king was mad, and he was doing it to show that he was protecting his own house's legacy and doing that instead of revealing what he knew. And maybe he was even conflicted about protecting the honor of the king that he was sworn to serve. He was trying to protect him from being seen as mad as he was. Like the more that I think about, like I think about this a lot, but the more that I think about Jamie Lannister's story, the more tragic and sad it is, because as the books are leading, he is barreling towards a such a sad end to his story, and it's tragic. And I
And let's be honest, the way they fumbled his character in the show, the way that they spent every season like giving him a little more humanity and making him more relatable and likable and seeing his struggle, to end it the way they did was just a slap in the face to everything they'd done for him.
Yeah, for him to go back to Cersei at the end of it all, after she had made the decisions that she made, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and all of that, and to not have him make the honorable decision and like choke her or stab her or do whatever you want there, and like probably to choke her, because that's the fulfilling the Valancourt prophecy. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's like that would all be so poetic and so like very George Martinian to have it end that way, and they had the opportunity to do it and he doesn't do it. So it's like it's not only him uh not fulfilling the promise of that, but it's the uh writers not fulfilling the promise of that. So it's unfortunate, but I'm hoping that we maybe we're not ever gonna get the ending to the series.
He claims that the book endings are going to be different. I believe it when I see the book actually printed. Like I
Yeah,
think he'll maybe finish one, but
maybe
there's supposed to be what is supposed to be two or three more.
two more. The Winter Winter
Okay,
and Song of Spring.
yeah. So fingers crossed. Now,
Yeah.
from the show aspect, I can honestly say, do you think there are any characters who get a justifiable ending with the way that the show went?
So the way I don't know. I think that John, not really, because the Unsullied and the Dothraki don't kill him for killing their queen. Like that in season, what is it? Season 2, they all are, no, I can't remember when she does it, but she makes all of like all the remaining Dothraki her blood riders. So they should
Yeah,
all be trying to absolutely uh pillage Jon into the ground after he kills their queen, and so should the Unsullied, because she was the breaker of chain. Like that, and but they just banish him and don't do any of that. And again, it's them having their cake and eating it too. They wanted a Jon spinoff, so they sent him north of the wall. But I don't know, maybe Sansa. I think that Sansa might, like, her whole arc is about learning how to play the political game, and she eventually does. Like, I could see her eventually outsmarting Littlefinger in the books, and like coming out on top.
I really hope that kind of goes down the same way.
Yeah, not as stupid as it does in season 7 or 8. I can't remember. Like so the specific episode, how it goes down, and like the details of how it goes down are really silly. But I but I hope that the outcome is the same. Like that's the thing, is that a lot of the outcomes are probably what will happen in the books, but the roads leading to them are the problems. Like, I think that Daenerys probably will go mad and will end up burning part or all of King's Landing. But I don't think that they set it up, and I don't think that the road leading her to that situation in the show was good enough and justified enough to put her at the ending that they did. And that's the same way with like a lot of the characters. But
yeah, honestly, I have to say, of the whole spectrum of the show from start to finish, I think Theon has got to be the best story for me.
Yeah, I think Theon is pretty good. I like his ending especially.
Theon, honestly, like, as much as I think that Cassius is a Jaime Lannister, I think he's got a touch of Theon mixed in him too. Just with the twisted sense of family, with the what's expected of him, and maybe being a little more tender. And I know of, the Bolognas, Julian was the tender one, and it was his twin brother. So, but yeah, no, I think Theon's redemption was so wonderful.
No, I definitely agree. And I actually really like that comparison to Theon, because it's like I can almost see where the arc is leading with Cassius. And like, I obviously don't know the whole extent of it, but it is probably leading to something similar where he has to make a decision between his family and his loyalties. And at the end of Morningstar, Darrow made it easy to choose, because he showed him the footage of what really happened to the Bolognas on Mars. But so he wasn't having to choose between his family and his honor, and I think that is hopefully leading towards something that will put him in that situation, which I don't expect you to, like, don't give me any spoilers on that, but
it's I can't wait. I just it's so hard not to, because you only have part of the picture, so it's tough. It is tough.
Yeah. Well, anything else that you want to talk about with A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms and Game of Thrones or anything like that? Or do we want to move on to some anime discussion?
I mean, I'm always ready for anime discussion.
All right. Well, let's start off by, and I'll throw the reins to you here in a minute, but why don't you tell me kind of how you got into anime, what your anime journey has been, and maybe your top 5 anime.
Well, I grew up near a Navy base, on a Navy base, Naval Air Station, technically, in Texas. And I got into anime early with like bootleg VHS tapes of Dragon Ball Z. And back then, before anime was a big thing, They were Chinese knockoffs of a Japanese anime that were dubbed by people who English was a second language to, so the subtitles were horrible. Half of them didn't make any sense. It was almost as much fun just to watch them for the bad subtitles. Like, I used to have the same issue before Naruto ever came to the States. I used to watch it on bootleg Chinese DVDs. And, it would be like, in English, you'd be like, can I have a bite of that? But then in the Chinese English subtitles, it'd be like, can I has bites? So it was
That's
always
awesome.
fun. And then I'm a Toonami kid. Before Toonami was even Adult Swim, like back when Bob, he always had these motivational speeches he'd give you every once in a while. And in the days of Dragon Ball Z and Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, Trigun, Samurai Champloo, Outlaw Star, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Picking five would be oof. At this point, when I tell you I've watched a lot, to me, Cowboy Bebop is kind of like the Beatles. Like if you say
Mhm.
you like music, you have to at least appreciate.
Yeah. You can't, like, I personally, I don't love the beat. Like, I like the Rolling Stones more than I like the Beatles, but the Beatles are obviously like an incredibly talented musical act that you cannot deny the influence of.
Yeah, if nothing else, you have to give them that. They brought it to a broader audience.
Yeah.
And Cowboy Bebop, I mean, come on, Tank is one of the greatest openings of all time.
Hmm.
Like, to be playing a jazz song written by a female Japanese person in jazz clubs in New Orleans, where jazz was invented, is crazy to me. Like, I've heard Tank played in New Orleans in a jazz club,
That's cool.
and they hit you with the trumpet solo, and you're like, it's a wonderful song. But it's a great show. And it's not the best because back then, like, you had this concept of a enclosed story, but then alludes to the bigger parts of the stories. But some of those episodes are like my favorite episodes of anime of all time. I
Yeah.
always loved Trigun. Vash the Stampede's such a great character. What shows have you actually like? If I say, have you watched Dragon Ball Z? Have you watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z? Or
No, so I have like lots of them. I have seen clips of. I have seen like parts of them, and like I vaguely know what the story is about, and like I know I could probably point out the main character if you put them in a lineup. But that's how I am with like I know more about like Naruto and like uh MHA and like a few of the others. I've watched most of Spy X Family. I have watched all of Demon Slayer. Um, so my kind of story is we never had cable growing up, so I never like kind of got into that, and then we only had like a couple of CDs or like DVDs and stuff, and we had like we eventually like accumulated more and more, but my parents or like no one around me really was into anime or anything like that, and so I never really got into it until college when a couple of my roommates were really into Demon Slayer. So that's was kind of my introduction into it, and like so many others, I'm sure I got introduced into it through that. And then one of my work friends, who was actually the former co-host on here, Blake, he is a huge weeb, and he huge anime fan, and he kind of introduced me to a little bit more. So I've watched like a little bit of some shows, but I just, it has never been my priority, or like I've never made time to watch anime because I've just had so much other stuff to watch. But I think that's kind of going to be my secondary goal. Like my primary goal right now is Red Rising, but my secondary like content goal is going to be, now that Percy Jackson is over, is going to be consuming some more anime and maybe some manga if I have time.
and like, anime is a vast space. There's a lot. I was talking to one of my best book talk friends, Nicole, earlier, and we were talking about anime, and she was like, I've been trying to think about getting into it, but I don't know about this and that. And I'm like, you don't understand that one of the biggest genres of anime is romance anime, which is
Yeah,
just
it's
the
huge.
same as, romance and romantasy fiction books. Like, any readers should naturally want to flock to anime because anime is very action, adventure, fantasy, romance, fantasy. I just,
Well, and
I
the
don't know.
other thing,
It's so much good. Go ahead.
well, and kind of the other thing about anime, especially now or more recently, is that there's such a wide variety of anime. It's not just shonen. It's not just people yelling their moves and and launching power beams at
Spending
each other
four
anymore.
episodes
There is
powering
so
up.
much. Exactly. Yeah. It's
30,
not.
30 minutes of Goku just going,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. um, there's so much more to it now, and that's kind of been what's drawn me to it. Like Vinland Saga is like a beautiful historical fiction so far, and I'm so excited to get more into it and
And the
see
biggest
more.
thing about Vinland Saga is it's got so much going on. Like, it's a historical fiction. It's very, very Viking based, but there's a lot of Christian mythos built into it because you're at the point when the Danes are
Mhm.
fighting the English. Everybody's trying to convert each other. Um, the dad, Thor, or not Thorkel, Thor's, uh,
Mhm.
is he's a very stoic philosophy kind of guy. He's the kind of dude that he's like, I have no enemies. I should never want to hurt anyone. And just the stories, the characters, the way everything's it's a very emotionally complex show. It's not just like an action anime, like we were just saying. There's a lot in the writing of it that's so good to me.
Yeah.
And those, morally gray characters where the good guy's really a bad guy's really a good guy. And it's just, oh, and Thorfinn, like Thorfinn's journey. Anybody who's watched the whole show knows there's a huge tone shift between season one and season two. And it happens in the series too, the books. But when you unpack it all, it's so in me, like it's very me. It's historical based, it's philosophy based. There's a lot of questions asked, that are just fun to talk about, you know. I can't. You should watch all of it. Watch all of it now. I'm just kidding.
I'll work on that as soon as I have a spare. What 50 hours?
Yeah,
I'll get on that. No, it's really good, and I really like. I very much enjoyed the first episode so far, so I'm very excited to continue on that. Um, since you're wearing a MHA hoodie,
I am.
what did you think of the ending of MHA? And have you read the anime? And did you feel like it was better in the anime than in the manga, or what do you kind of think about that? Because I do know about a little bit of MHA.
So I read the manga, um,
Hmm.
chapter for chapter on release, and I have not watched all the way up to the end because I'm waiting for my son and my daughter who are supposed to be catching up to watch it with me. Because this is a show we watched like me and my oldest daughter. I think we watched it the day it came out. Like the
Oh
first
yeah.
time they dropped a dub on Funimation used to, well, it used to be Funimation. Now it's Crunchyroll, but Funimation, which used to be the
Hmm.
place to go for dubs, uh, they had a simul dub, is what they called it. But they would always fool
Yeah.
you because they would simul dub like the first two episodes, but then they'd make you wait like 2 weeks for the third episode.
Dang,
And so,
that's yeah, that's annoying.
well, I mean, now they don't even like release the
Simul, yeah,
dubs until
yeah.
like a month
I
later.
was gonna say you like, which is so what like was listening to Otakus Anonymous talk about this the other day. It's like if you're having like the script is already done, like you don't necessarily need them to have the anime to like the animation done to watch it, why don't you just have them like read the lines and then you can go back and like touch it up as they're getting close to it? But like, I don't
Or
know.
like, stagger it a week. I understand that it's not going to be
Yeah,
the day of the Japanese release, but
yeah,
give it a week and then do it, or I don't know, something like that.
something like that. It should not be so far behind.
Because I mean, like, to know that there's new episodes of Free Run out that I can't watch because they're not in English yet irks me.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's another one. If that's never been on your radar, Free Run is also almost as close to perfect of an anime as you can have.
It's on my radar because a bunch of the podcasts that I listen to talk about it, and I want to get into it, but again, time constraints. So
Yeah.
I'm like, so it's like basically today and technically tomorrow are like the start of my really busy season for my work. So
Hmm.
basically, I won't have any like days off. Like I might get done earlier or whatever on some days, but like I won't really have any days off until July. So I'm gonna be pretty busy, but it's fine. It's how it goes.
I was talking to my buddy yesterday, and we were talking about genres and stuff, and that's my thing. It's like, I'm really into everything. Like, it's just like my big, like, guilty pleasure. Because we had a whole conversation about this on the Discord. Is like, I'm an isekai guy. Like, I know that it's not popular with people, but it's just fun to me. Like, it doesn't take a ton of brain power. A lot of the stories are parallel to each other. Your main character is always going to be overpowered for the most part, but you you come across a genre like that that's so generic, and you find some real gems in between there. And so, and
Yeah.
I'm a cozy. You know,
It's
me and my son,
Go ahead.
one of me and Lincoln's favorite shows is called Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. And the main character's skill is that he has like an online grocery he can pull up and order groceries, and that's it. Like, on paper, it doesn't sound like it'd be any good at all. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it works.
Hey, that's awesome. I mean, whatever works, man.
Yeah, because he's not strong. He doesn't have powers. He's not some super gunslinger. He's just kind of a nerdy office dude that got reincarnated and can buy instant noodles whenever he wants them.
I mean, that does. Listen, I'm not saying that that's the coolest power in anime, but I want that power.
It's pretty cool. I mean, and also because it's food from another world, it like gives buffs to people in his world, in the new world.
Hmm.
And so it's almost like, you haven't read any Robin Hobb, have you?
No, I have not.
Okay, so it's kind of like the first in the Farseer trilogy. You spend a lot of time with
Okay.
the buildup of the world, and like at the beginning, he's learning how to shoe horses and take care of animals and stuff. On paper, it doesn't make any sense, but the way it's written, it's like kind of a day in the life. It's kind of fun. So in the show, he like narrates what he's cooking, and he's just cooking basic Japanese dishes, but
Yeah,
it's just it's interesting.
that is cool. That sounds rather interesting. Like a lot of people, I'm not a huge isekai fan, but I think that it is interesting when people do cool stuff like that and kind of subvert the genre a little bit and like turn it into something that you don't normally see in the isekai genre or like anything
We're
like that.
like,
Like I think that's cool.
have you ever heard of Rising of the Shield Hero? That's a great one. The first season of that, I'll put up against almost any other show.
Hmm. No, I have not heard of that one.
It's a good one. There's some twists in the story where it's not your normal isekai, where your main character's almost kind of hated by the higher ups, but loved by the regular people.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't want to, no spoilers for people, but yeah, it's a great show too.
Maybe I'll have to check it out. I've got to figure. I've got to finish on the ones that I've started right now, though. I'm starting on my Vinland Saga journey, and then I will move to other things.
It's kind of like where I'm at on anime is kind of like the opposite of where I'm at on books. I'm always like, well, I've read 3 of Dungeon Crawler. Like, I'm in so many series at this point. I'm like, I have to finish a series before I start a new one.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah, that's.
I'm on my Bloodsworn era right now. If you didn't know.
I was gonna say, how are you liking that so far? I
Oh, I love
uh,
it.
shout out to my Amazon wish list. It is the only thing on my Amazon wish list right now is the Bloodborne saga, and that was just for John, or I mean for Brad.
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's Vikings and gods and
Yeah,
lots of action, lots of. It kind of sparked my whole edit thing. I've been making so many edits, just having a good time reading the book. Um,
that's awesome, dude.
so yeah, I'm like halfway through book two, maybe not quite halfway through, but excuse me. Um, it's the characters are fun. The multiple POVs flow pretty well. I'm not a huge multiple POV guy because I feel like you get on track with somebody like and you're fired up, you're hitting the gas pedal, and then you swap over to somebody else who's on the other side of the world doing something else,
Mhm.
and sometimes it doesn't work for me as well. Like I had a hard time adjusting to Iron Gold's POVs
Yeah,
because
that that it's such a hard like shift, and especially in the beginning when it's a lot of setup and like establishing who they are, it's hard to start off like in a multi POV book. But once you get like once I kind of get rolling in a series, I like it because it kind of lets it kind of lets you like, or lets the author like build up tension in one story and then cut away and like leave you with that like little background tension, and like when you come back to that story, like you maybe that tension gets released or gets built up even more, and so it's kind of a fun way to play with tension and release in that sense.
yeah, it's like reading three books in the same universe at the same time.
Yeah,
And then you have those inevitable moments where the characters are going to meet up, so you get to see a character from a
yeah,
different perspective, from a third person perspective. Versus, like, one of the greatest things ever is um, there's a character later in the book series, and they're going to like explain because you've read almost four books at this point. You know all about Darrow's battle prowess and things like that, right? But Darrow from the first three
hmm,
books was relatively, I mean, he was confident, but he wasn't cocky to me.
yeah.
Like he had a lot of confidence, but he also backed it up
No,
a fair amount.
he was very. I was gonna say he showed like he did not he wasn't overconfident. He was just confident in what he did.
Well, and then like, look, and it's in Dark Age, so I'm not trying to ruin anything for you, but you get some chapters of
Yeah.
people watching Darrow be Darrow and why
Hmm.
people think he's like a god of war,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for that.
'cause-
One of my favorite examples of that is when like we've spent 5 books, like it's in Son of Neptune. We spent 5 books following Percy in the Heroes of Olympus, and he does some pretty cool stuff in the Heroes of Olympus series. But seeing him from but seeing him from Hank and
sorry, my computer started talking.
oh, you're all good. Uh, seeing him from Hank and or from Frank and Hazel's uh,
Yeah,
perspective is
exactly. It's just like that, where they're like, "Wow, this guy's scary." Like he is.
Percy's actually terrifying. Percy is summoning a hurricane out of a glacier. Oh, this is
Yeah,
terrifying.
yeah, but it's it's pretty much just like that, actually. Um,
I'm very excited for that, man.
I remember the day that book title was announced, and me jumping up and down, knowing exactly who it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the first Heroes of Olympus book, um, is it the Lost Hero?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that what it's
Lost
called?
Hero.
Okay, so the Lost Hero, you meet Jason, you meet Hazel, you meet all the new characters. You're going multiple POVs. It's a very Iron Age type book, or
Yeah.
Iron Gold kind of book, if you think about it, because it's the same concept. You were in Percy's POV for 5 books.
Yeah.
Now you've shifted to this multiple POVs, and Percy's not even there per
And
se in that book.
I did not like it when I first read it. I
Exactly,
really
I didn't.
yeah.
I had
Yeah.
a hard time endearing myself to these characters because none of them existed. in my world of,
Yeah.
Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Yeah.
But when they merge them, because by then you are invested. By then, you're like, oh my god, I hope him and Jason don't fight. Like, but are they going to do that whole anime thing where they have to fight so they can be friends afterwards? There's always going to be the
Which
miscommunication.
they do.
I mean, yeah, it's the trope, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you're going into it, and then like you said, when you're seeing it from their eyes, and Percy's just like, might as well be the god of the sea to
Yeah.
them.
Like literally, and especially because they're Romans, like they're children of Rome, and to Rome especially, the sea was a danger. Like the Greeks, they spent a lot more time on the sea, but like during the, what was it, the war with Carthage, what is that war called?
Uh,
The
the no, Peloponnesian War.
I don't think that's it. It's
No, is the
the
Peloponnesian War is
the
Sparta
Punic
and
War.
Punic
Was it?
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah. During the first, the first Punic War, they lost like 4 different fleets to storms, sailing troops to Carthage, and like they they just had a bad time. At one point, one of their emperors declared war on Neptune, and, and all of their which this is probably a fake story. Like this probably didn't really happen, but they had their people stab the sea. So I don't think that they were really big fans of the ocean. But like,
Yeah.
and one of my favorite theories is that the gods are like portrayed so differently from their Greek counterparts because it is how modern society views them. So like since the ocean has got like at least like travel on the ocean has gotten a lot less scary and like a lot more predictable. Poseidon is a lot less scary and unpredictable and like that sort of thing. That's like one of my favorite headcanons from the Percy Jackson series. But again, yeah.
And then I think it was mentioned at one point that is it there is no Roman version of Athena.
Yeah, so that's
So
one of my
that
favorite.
that proves how militaristic they are, how they don't really
Yeah,
respect the knowledge quite like the Greeks did.
yeah. So that's one of my favorite parts in like the Mark of Athena and the whole Heroes of Olympus um like book series is that it's all about the differences between the Greeks and Romans and restore and like it's about the Athena Parthenos and it's the thing that the Romans were incredible at war and Mars as a god became more strategic and less about chaos, but they lost the wisdom of war. And so it became more about conquest and it became more about bloodshed and it's just this really like interesting perspective on how religions change as time goes on and how they're adapted into other things like Jupiter as opposed to Zeus was much more he followed the rules and he
Mm-hmm.
stuck by the numbers because he was now not like the father of a Parthenon that was over, or the king of a Parthenon that was over divided city states. He was the king of a god who was ruling over an empire. So it became this different religion to what it had been in Greece when it was in Rome, and I think that is so incredibly interesting as well.
It is. It's it's fun to kind of break that down, and the way he breaks it down is.
Oh, did I lose you, Brandon? Hello. I think we may have lost Brandon. Withered away in his old age. He's just a pile of bones now. I'll miss you forever, Brandon. your knowledge and wisdom was unmatched, and maybe one day you will reincarnate like Gandalf. Oh, Brandon the White, you have returned.
I don't know what happened.
I don't
I
know
don't know if
either.
my app crashed or what, but luckily I'm back in.
All right, yeah, you're Brandon the White now. I'm just kidding.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I should have done a wardrobe change and
you
put
should
something
have.
else on.
That would have been hilarious. Well, with that, I think we're going to kind of wrap up that conversation, and we've got about 10 minutes left. So we're going to do a draft, and this will be a full spoilers draft for Percy Jackson and the Olympians. And we are going to draft our top 5 favorite moments that are upcoming. So this could be anything from the Percy Jackson and the Olympians book series that we are excited to see adapted on screen. And I will let you decide whether you want to go first or have the second 2 picks.
So this is book 3 through 5. Anything from book 3 through 5, or just book 3?
And anything from book 3 through 5. So full spoilers for the next 3 seasons of Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
I'm gonna go second. I want 2 picks.
Okay. For my first pick, I am going to pick Percy aura farming, fighting a Titan in Central Park, and summoning a hurricane for the first time.
That's a good one. My first pick has to be.
Take notes.
I'm gonna go book 3, and I'm gonna say when Percy holds up the sky.
That's gonna be sweet too.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite moments of all the books. So
that's a good one.
Second pick. Oof, I'm torn between 2. I don't want you stealing mine. That's the problem. So I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna have to go in the last Olympian when Percy has his conversation with the spirit that's supposed to be Achilles.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
You know, when we're at we're right at the River Styx moment, if I recall, he's giving him the speech. You know, like, this is gonna hurt.
Yeah, this is not good. It strips away some of your humanity. Like that's such an iconic moment because like Achilles, like it's not really Achilles, but it's kind of the embodiment of what the mark of Achilles represents, and that's such a wonderful moment as well.
That's a good one. So those are going to be my 2 for now.
Okay. For my second pick, I am going to go with the. Do I want to do that? I think it's going to be so epic when. I don't know. Do I want to do that one or do I want to do it now? You know what? I'm really excited to see the Battle of the Labyrinth, and I don't know if you want to cut this as one moment, but the Battle of the Labyrinth is such an iconic moment from the book series, and I think that is going to be so epic to see because that's one of the first times that Percy is really like strutting his stuff and showing off how incredibly skilled he is as a swordsman and how much he has grown as a swordsman after like the Luke fight and stuff. But at that point, we kind of get to see how much Percy has grown and how much he has grown into a warrior.
And I think we touched on this, maybe not last episode, but the one before that, when we were talking about Luke invading the camp in the series, because in the book series, the first time that they invade the camp, the Kronos' forces invade Camp Half-Blood is Battle of the Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah, so it's going to be very different in the TV series because they've already done it once.
Yeah. So, it's, and I'm not going to start that. I'll start a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. And for my for my third moment, I'm going to do the underwater kiss between Percy and Annabeth after so long. Them finally getting together. That is just such an iconic moment.
Um, okay. So I've got my first two, right? We're doing five.
Yeah, we're doing five.
I'm trying not to pick all the ones from book five because those are
I
the
know
good
that,
ones.
but book five is so epic, but I really could just pick all of book five, but
I want to go. So I got three picks left. So my next pick, I'm going to have to go with the Battle of the Labyrinth, and that's when we realize that Daedalus is who we're dealing with.
yeah, that he's the which again, spoilers, 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 but we realize that he is oh, what is his name? What does he pretend that his name is? Anyway, he's the sword teacher in
Yeah,
that's been in Camp Half Blood the whole time.
he's a very complex character. I like the history of him, within Greek mythology itself. Anyway,
Yeah, and then they add like depth to it in the series, and they add in some wrinkles to what was already in mythology and make him a very interesting character and make his reason for not wanting to help or like helping the Titans and stuff. They make it very interesting to go on with. So I like that as well.
mm-hmm. And I think the bridge from book 3 to 4, especially there, the maturity level seems to go up a lot more. But it's because they're getting older. They're a little more emotionally mature. But
Yeah, for sure.
and then characters like Nico, which leads me to my next pick, which is when Nico summons the dead.
Yeah, that was on my list for
That
sure.
was
That was
a
gonna
that was a fist pumper for me. Yeah.
yeah. That was my next pick for sure. Is that when so like these creatures have been following Percy and been such a nuisance the whole book, and they show up at camp after this whole time, and Nico just deals with them like they're nothing, like they're trash, and that's such a incredible moment.
That's yeah, I agree. Sorry.
Or were you talking about that moment, or were you talking about another moment?
No, that was it. Um,
Okay.
I ADHD'd on you. It happens.
All right.
So it's your
For
pick. Your final. You have two more now, right?
yeah, yeah, my last two, and then you get the last pick.
Okay.
Okay, so for my, let's see, got those ones. I am also going to do another pick from the Titans Curse, and I'm going to do when that one. Yeah, I'm gonna do when Artemis and the Hunters show up. I think that the Hunters of Artemis add such a cool bit of lore and mythology to the world that I think that really it's a story and sort of like it's a series. They just kind of pop everywhere. They're a lot like Hoyd or any of the characters or any of the world hoppers from the Cosmere. They kind of permeate every story that we get into, and so it's fun to see their introduction and to see them um, be so epic, especially in their first appearance. So I really love that.
And it's with
And
Mister
then
Mister Thorn, right? The
yeah,
Manticore.
yeah, yeah. I think it's Doctor Thorn actually.
Doctor Thorn. Yeah. I was trying to remember his real name. I know because he comes back later. Like he's not.
Yeah, I think he is just called the Manticore or Thorn after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember that. And then honestly, do I want to do something from Battle of the Labyrinth, or do I want to do? Yeah, I am going to do something from Battle of the Labyrinth, and I'm going to do Percy causing the eruption at Mount St. Helens. I think that is such an incredible feat by Percy. Like when we're talking
Yeah.
about power scaling, that is something that pushes the bar for Percy up to a whole nother degree. He is as Hephaestus says, he's the son of the Earthshaker, and he flexes those muscles in that moment.
Hmm. Yeah, it's always fun watching him finally pop off.
Yeah.
It's, like I always go with the when he's fighting Ares for the first time, he backs up into the water and gets some strength. Like to see that in the show was so much fun because it's one of my favorite moments. But just the way his action always tends to climb the next rung of that ladder. I think you're gonna like my last pick. I saved this one for last pick just to see if you'd pick it. But
Okay.
because we've had this conversation multiple times about the changes to Luke's character.
Hmm.
Because my fifth one is when Luke realizes he's the child of the prophecy and
Yeah, when
takes
he's
his
the
own
hero.
full spoilers, and he takes his own life.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
it's the Darth Vader moment when he realizes who he is and he takes the Emperor out.
Well, and
Only
it's the
he is the Emperor. So
yeah. Well, and it's the culmination of the entire story, because this story is, as much as it's Percy's story, it's Luke's story. And it's the
hmm
story about a kid whose mother was able to see monsters, and she believed that she was the one who was supposed to be the next, like a full spoiler.
yeah,
But
we're in it now. We're in the
we're
thick of
we're
it.
we're we're in it now. I'm gonna lore dump for about 5 minutes, but it's the story about a kid who had to run away from home because his mother thought that she was the next Oracle, but because of actions that Hades took years ago,
Hmm.
he the Oracle itself was cursed. So she got glimpses of her kid's future and went crazy, and makes and burns the same lunch every day because her concept of time has been taken away by the curse on the prophecy of Delphi. And so he runs away, goes on the run, meets up with Thalia and Annabeth, goes to camp, sees how all of these gods do not claim their children, and he's the head counselor of the Hermes cabin. So he's in a unique position where he sees all of these unclaimed kids of the gods and all of these children of minor gods who don't have a place, who are disrespected, who don't do it. And he becomes more and more disenfranchised with the gods until he eventually decides to help Kronos, because the gods have not only done him wrong with not honoring him for the quest that he went on, but by continuing to uh, not like take his advice and not heed his advice. And then his story ends because like he tries to run away. He tries to get Annabeth to run away with him before the before the book of the Battle of the Labyrinth. He tries to get her to run away with him, and that doesn't end up happening. But
Because he knows at that point he's got to lose himself.
yeah, yeah,
I think at that point he starts to fear for his own soul.
yeah,
And
and
you took the term right out of my mouth, disenfranchised, because that was my biggest beef with the show is they make him seem like he was bitter before he ever even went to camp. He was thrilled to go to camp. He was thrilled to be in a safe space for the first time in his life. The
yeah,
disenfranchisement only comes along when, like you said, he's seeing the other kids not be claimed. He's seeing how out of touch the Olympian parents are. And, it's all justifiable feelings until you take the step too far over the line and, you're okay, let's destroy the world.
yeah,
That's a big tonal shift. But, and I think his relationship with Annabeth is so very important through the whole series because you're almost afraid he's going to be some kind of romantic connection, but he's not. He's a big brother, and their
Yeah, he
family. Like I think
always.
that's her. Isn't that the quote she tells him that breaks him out of his funk? She's like, "Family is important."
So
And
I can't remember. I can't remember exactly. I think Annabeth like always was like a little bit romantically interested in him, but he always thought of her as a brother or as a sister. But
hmm
this like the whole thing kind of went on and on. And then I think it's when she gets flung across the like when Kronos like tries to hurt Annabeth or like does hurt Annabeth a little bit and like
hmm
she gets hurt. That's what snaps Luke out of his spell is like he's not about to let Annabeth get hurt.
a total Darth Vader moment. You know what I
It,
mean?
it,
Like it.
it it really is like it's very similar to that, and I think that like even Percy having to give Luke the knife because Percy has to make a decision to give Luke the knife to
hmm
let him end his own life because Percy can't do it because Kronos would seize control back. Like it's such a beautiful and tragic moment because Luke finally like is on the right side of history again and is on the side with
hmm
his friends again, and it's too late because he's already made too many wrong decisions and put himself in a position where he cannot spend the rest of his life with his friends because of the decisions that he's made. It's a Greek tragedy. Like it's so beautiful. I love
It
the
is.
more I think about it,
It
the
is.
more I
It is
love
a Greek epic tragedy for sure. For him, it's a Greek epic in general. And then
it. Yeah.
afterwards, you have Percy telling the gods that they have to acknowledge him as the hero, even though
Yeah.
he's technically the one that started the war.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and they get like and they make a full funeral shroud for him because he was
hmm
the hero after all. Like it's I don't know. It's beautiful. And then like the next beautiful moment um is Rachel Elizabeth there becoming the next Oracle of Delphi is cool because that's bringing that whole his it is bringing his story to a close even more like that that's
hmm
the other
Yeah.
thing
But
that
what about the other big moment? I mean, if we're going to go full spoilers, let's go full spoilers. How about Percy giving up immortality, Hercules stuff?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and in like Greek mythology, he doesn't, and he regrets his decision to take immortality. He is incredibly unhappy as a god because he has to spend time around his stepmother who hates him for existing for all of eternity. Like Hera hates that he exists, even though he is Heracles, like he was named for her and given to her, like Jason.
Yeah, yeah. But is the living embodiment of her husband's infidelity. So
Yeah, exactly.
it's
He's a
tough.
walking contradiction. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very it's tough.
Yeah. Hera is
Well,
always such an interesting character for me because or like is such an interesting like figure for me because she is like there's so much about her that like she must have just a tough like such a hard time because her like she is the symbol of like wifehood and motherhood and yet her husband is constantly unfaithful to her like
she is
that's
she's a wonderful person, a wonderful mother to anybody who is not Zeus's illegitimate child.
yeah or Hephaestus but that's another story.
Poor Hephaestus.
Yeah, got booted off of a mountain.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And creates all the stuff they need. So underrated.
Yeah, yeah, underrated god. Leo Valdez on top.
hmm For sure.
Oh man. Um, uh, Honorable mention for me is Percy on Calypso's island. I think that that's a wonderful moment. That Percy is once again choosing to go back to be the hero. He's not letting Nico, like, he's not shirking his responsibility off on Nico, like, full spoilers, Thalia does at the end of this next book.
Totally.
Yeah,
My honorable mention has to be the Battle of New York and just Percy becoming the general of the army,
yeah, yeah.
and fighting
Or
and campers and gods fighting together to fight Typhon. It's just like to be able to see that in a visual form to me, I can't wait. Like,
yeah, I hope they do a big like event in New York for it. Like I hope they do uh the screening in New York, and I will try my
that would be
damnedest to
awesome.
go because that would be like even like Annabeth activating all the statues in New York, or like the flying pig and the one statue like going off and hunting flying pigs after they defeat the one. I think that's so funny.
Yeah, and
And
like the whole back to the one last thing with Luke was the twist in the prophecy. It's after all that the writing,
yeah,
man. I think the books are so adult YA.
seriously, especially like after we have just finished the last season where there were no like character deaths.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
we
because it's all downhill from here.
it's all downhill from here. We get one in the next book, or we get two in the next book, and then it just goes on from there.
Um, yeah, no, but like I remember watching, was it like 2012, one of those disaster movies, and there's a giant wave coming across New York, and I was like,
Yeah.
hey, look, Percy's here. It's the
Hey, it's
Battle of New York.
Percy. It's the battle.
Yeah,
It's
so
Percy talking to like Percy talking to the rivers. That's another moment that like I hope that they have the time to do the whole fifth, like the Battle of New York like it should be, because it's kind of a sprawling epic battle, and
mhm.
I hope that they have time to do it justice. I think they will. I think they'll get it right. I have a lot more faith in their ability to pace stuff after the Sea of Monsters than I did after the first season, because I was really worried about it. But after seeing this last season, I have a lot more faith.
Yeah, I was debating rereading the book before the new season comes out, but I don't think I will. Ooh, excuse me, just because then I feel like it's going to push me further into that picking out differences. Like I want to be able to pick out the
That's
differences, but I don't want them to bother me.
that's fair. Well, I'm going to continue to do my reread. I started a reread last week, and I have really been enjoying it. I'm really looking forward to continuing to reread the book, and I will notice the differences, but I am excited to see how different the show is, because it is going to be very different from the book. But that's okay.
Yeah, it's going to be
Yeah.
good though. Cautious optimism.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm optimistic about it, but like you said, cautious optimism. Well, I think that does kind of bring us to the end of the episode for today. Next week, we'll talk about more Vinland Saga as I continue to watch through it, and anything else that you have been reading. And we will continue to do our little mini coverage of um, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms and whatever else we want to talk about. But thank you guys so much for listening. This has been so much fun, as always. Thank you so much to uh, Caesar the second, Brandon over here.
That's me.
Yeah.
Augustus. I prefer to go by Augustus.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, we, we,
That's
we,
me.
we,
That's me if you didn't know. I'm the first emperor actually.
yeah. Yeah. He's still around. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Brandon, why don't you tell the people where they can find you, and anything else that you want to shout out?
You can find me on TikTok, Book Talk, Kuyon Reader, Couyon. Um, I have an Instagram I don't really use since TikTok was kind of being funny. Everybody wanted to go to Instagram, but I'm not that dedicated. I'm too old to learn a whole new app, so I'll just wait till it's fixed.
That's fair.
Um, and yeah, we have the Discord. If anybody needs a link to the Discord, hit me up on TikTok. But happily invite you. We talk every medium. We've got anime and manga, music, books, every kind of book genre, author based stuff. Um, and perfectly open to creating new spaces. We have gaming channels and we have all kinds of stuff. So
It rules. It's an awesome Discord. Go check it out. And with that, be sure to join our Discord as well at the Oracle Podcast Discord. Hit me up for the link for that. And my name has been Casey, and this is the Oracle Podcast. Be sure to look us up on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram. And I will be sure to continue to try and post as much as I can. But again, my work schedule is getting busy, so it's going to be a little bit scaled back posting stuff from now until the middle of July or so, like that. So I'll continue to post, but it will probably be like once daily instead of 3 times daily like it has been. But with that, thank you so much for coming on, Brandon, as always. And this has been the Oracle Podcast, and that has been your prophecy.